you're beating me.
I'm not done anything.
Go, come faster, we're late.
To ISKCON Sarawak Cruise Yatra ki His Holiness Bhanu Swami Maharaj ki His Grace Prabhu Vishnu Prabhu ki Gaura Bhakta Vrindi ki. So we like to thank all the devotees for joining us this beautiful cruise safari. So we'll have about 30 minutes, one nice kirtan, and after that both Srila Prabhupada disciples will speak something. I'd like to enlighten all of you, and after that you can go up, prasadam. For your kind information, 2 years ago, when His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj came here, we also had a cruise. So what we did, we dropped few water of Ganges in this river. So we made it into Ganga safari. Then he said, and the first question Jayapataka Maharaj asked, is there crocodile in this river? I said, Guru Maharaj, plenty. Okay, Hare Krishna, thank you. We have another 45 minutes. So I request His Holiness Bhanu Swami Maharaj just say a few words to inspire all of us and spiritually. Say something to encourage Maharaj. Hare Krishna, after that, probably should go. Thank you.
In the scriptures, we have a comparison given to a boat. We have several actually. So, one of the comparisons is that the human body is like a boat. And the significance of a boat is what? Takes you across the river. Or it takes you across the ocean. So we have the material ocean, samsara, ocean of birth and death, which is actually difficult to cross. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami compares the people drowning in the ocean. And can you swim across the ocean? No. But everybody's in the ocean. What are they supposed to do? The best solution that people could think of is they see a dog swimming in the water. So they hold on to the dog's tail. And they hope they get saved. But actually, they don't get saved. Because the dog also gets drowned. So this is material life. Stuck in the ocean, we get some solution, but the solution also is temporary, and then we drown. Which means, actually, we don't drown because we get born again, and again we come up in the ocean, and again we start swimming, and again we die. Again we come into the ocean, again we start swimming. But we never get across the ocean. This is an ocean with no end to it, seemingly no end to it. Which is also described in Bhagavad Gita, where he says, Mama Maya Duratyaya. It is impossible to cross over the ocean of Maya.
So recalling the verse from the first chapter of the first canto of the Bhagavatam, where the Sonaka Rishi, he's praising Sutta Goswami. That the sages are gathered in the forest of Malaysian, and they're hearing the Puranas. And initially they were hearing from Ramaharshan Sutta, but he was killed by Lord Balaram. Lord Balaram was on pilgrimage, he came to Malaysian, and when the sages saw him, they all stood up to welcome. Normally the speaker doesn't have to get up, so Maharshan didn't get up, but Lord Balaram was not pleased with him, and he took a blade of grass and he hit him on the forehead and killed him. So the sages were very shocked that we gave him a blessing. They said we gave him blessing of undisturbed duration of life, so that he could speak on the Puranas. Now you killed him. What's going to happen? And Lord Balaram said, well, I can bring him back to life, no problem. Hare Krishna. Krishna gives life, Krishna can take it away. And he can give it again. That's his prerogative, his ability. They said, no, he made some offense, do something else. So he said, I'll install his son on the Vyasa. So that's how his son, whose name is Ugrashava Sutta, or as we know more commonly as Sutta Goswami, he's the speaker of the Bhagavatam. He's speaking it to the sages in Naimisharani. It's also one of the Puranas. It's the Bhagavad Purana, but some of the earlier Puranas, they begin Ramaharshanuvacha. Ramaharshan said, but in the Bhagavad Purana, this is Sutta Goswami speaking. So the sages are welcoming Sutta Goswami in the morning, offered him a nice asam, nice place to sit, and spoke some sweet words in glorification. So Sonika said, we think we have met your grace by the will of providence, just to accept you as the captain of the ship to cross over this dangerous ocean of Kali. So it's a very beautiful glorification and very appropriate, Visits Goswami is a highly qualified Vaishnava and qualified to lead the other Vaishnavas, so qualified to be captain of the ship. But it reminded me, there's a story about Srila Prabhupada, how he came out of his house one morning in Vrindavan. Usually the Gurukul boys would throw water on the ground and then, sweep it away with those broomsticks. So everything be fresh and clean in the morning. Anyway, Prabhupada came out of his house, and one of our godbrothers, Vishal Prabhu, some of you must know him. He was a very jovial devotee. Actually, one of the very first devotees I met when I first joined ISKCON in London in 1971. He moved to Vrindavan and he stayed there many years, and he loved to distribute books. So you would see him with 2 book bags over his shoulder, regularly distributing books in Vrindavan. Anyhow, he was also a very bold devotee. He could go into Prabhupada's room and just start talking in a very familiar way with Srila Prabhupada. Most of us were pretty timid, shy. We didn't, want to push our way into Prabhupada's room. Usually the servants would stop us anyway, but Vishal, he could, anytime he managed to get into Prabhupada's room and speak, very frankly with Prabhupada. Anyway, this particular morning, Prabhupada came out and Vishal was reciting this prayer, we think we have met your grace by the will of providence. It's quite appropriate verse for glorifying Prabhupada. But soon he got to the word providence, Prabhupada hit this ground with his stick and there was some dirty water. They hadn't cleaned it away. He said, is this the will of providence? And Vishal, he said, no, Prabhupada, it's my fault, it's my fault. Prabhupada said, do something practical, he said, clean it up. So Prabhupada wasn't interested in just being glorified with big words. He wanted to see, practical action from his disciples. So this is a very important point in the Prabhupada's teachings, yes. Minimum 16 rounds chanting, then attending the classes and kirtans in the temple, reading the books whenever possible, but also practical service. Prabhupada liked to see devotees working hard for Krishna.